Right, I got the sick one partly mudded up. I didn't mix any more here yet. I just thought I'd put it straight on here, let that harden up, and then I can let that harden up, and I can probably run over, and then I can, once we've sort of got this knocked down, I'll mix the next lot, like I'll spread it through the other bits that need it as I'm filling where it needs to be. So I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes, have a drink, and this is not far off. It's a bit sticky still. It probably needs a little longer to go off, but I'll sit down for 5 minutes and take a break and have a drink, and yeah, then we'll carry on and work out whether this is going to be dry enough to sand, or I'll clean up some other bits. I might actually start cleaning out the steering box and whatever. I was thinking about doing sanding that, but I can sand that anytime. I'll clean out the steering box and bits and pieces because it's got to go back in with the motor. So we'll give that a good soak and scrub and whatever, and then we can paint that at some point when we poke it in. Probably when we put this in, we can probably, well, I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to paint that anyway before it goes in. I think I'll assess that situation, but yeah, that's what we'll do next anyway. We'll have a 5 minute break, catch up on some shit on the old interweb, and decide whether I'm going to sand that or clean that, and just give that another, 20 minutes, half an hour sort of type thing. Right, we'll catch you later on. Right, so I've started knocking this down. Obviously still got a bit to go, but I need to find one of the thinner blocks that I can block this out through. And also got to keep sanding this, and then maybe put a bit more mud in it, and obviously we're going to need more in some other places, but it's not blocking out too bad so far. The other thing too is I cut an extra piece. So one of the pieces I've already been using, I just cut an extra piece and put it on the DA. Works really well too. So I used a combination of the long block and that to knock it back, and works really well. Just a couple bits side by side. But yeah, so I'll keep knocking this stuff back. I've started sanding back down there too, but I thought I'd jump over to here, knock that back, and yeah, we'll get into this and we'll keep sanding, and then we'll mix up some more filler and put it in where it's needed. So yeah, we'll carry on. I just thought I'd give you a small update. I'll let you know that little tip. So yeah, if you're thinking, shit, I haven't got any of those in DA pads, that'd be quite nice. Well, cut a couple of strips and just put it on. Especially got a Velcro back pad. I have got one of the sticky back ones as well that I could put on here, but I'm using mainly Velcro stuff for this. But yeah, I just put a couple of pieces side by side on it. Works just as well. Right, we'll carry on. Righty. And so I've run into a bit of an issue on this one I'm going to have to fix. This here, it's I meant to have another look at it and I forgot about it. It's lumpy through here and it's too much. And it's actually half by sitting in. I can get it to push out, but give it a bang. But then it needs shrinking somewhere to tighten it up. That one there's alright, but this one here, I completely forgot about it. I smeared some mud on there and started blocking it out, but it just wants to do that, and it still feels, it's got like a couple of high spots in it. That should be I think it should sit slightly outwards, not in. Because this one here sort of feels like that. Yeah, this one sort of sits with the natural shape of the fender, whereas that one there actually sits, it's kind of like flat. So it's like overstretched. And here I remember mucking around with it because it had a couple of dents and marks in it. And yeah, I kind of remember thinking to myself, I must come back to that and maybe do some shrinks in the middle or something like that to get it to suck into, to give us a bit more shape. So I might bring that over the other side. We'll hit it with the Scotch Brite just to blow that bit of body filler off in there. Hopefully I don't disturb it out here too much. I don't think I will. And we'll do a couple of heat shrinks in here and just see if we can get it to pull in. And do a little bit of hammer and dolling. It'll be fine. I don't think it'll affect anything else. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass to have to do it now, but sometimes you forget about things and you spread a bit of mud in there and you think, yeah, it's not right. So we may as well fix it now. Easier to fix it now than get into, high build and whatever like that and then realise, that's not right. I did that with those, like I thought we had the shapes reasonable, and then when I was blocking out, I realised that, there was a couple of those guards I had to heat up and shrink and pull back in. There were two full through here. I couldn't get the shape back into them right because they'd been all overstretched on where these lines sort of met. So I had to shrink them back in, and this is kind of, I wouldn't say it's a similar situation, but it's been overstretched at some stage and it needs tightened up. It's still in here, so we'll do, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 or even more shrinks in here, and so we can get it to flatten out, and I'll keep planishing it. So it's not ideal, but sometimes it's what you got to do, so we'll go do that. Right, so I've done 4 shrinks in the centre. It's definitely not flat yet, and I've hammered and dollied it around it, but I want to flip it up the other way and hammer and dolly back from the other way. So run the dolly on this side. So I'm going to go back over to the panel stand, or I might drag a panel stand over here. I might drag a panel stand over here, because I'm probably going to be turning it back up the other way to maybe do a few more heat shrinks. Maybe 1 or 2. We'll just see what happens. But I just want to planish it from the other way and see if we can just get it to flatten out a bit more and just see what the metal's doing. And then we'll go from there. At some point, I better get some more gas for that. Because I can get a lot hotter flame, that I can get a quicker shrink, but it still works, does the same thing. It's just not quite as fast, so you don't get a small shrink, with a slightly bigger shrink. But it's all right, you just keep working at it. But I've definitely got it so it's better. It's got a little bit of boing in it, but all canning. But yeah, I think if we'll just plenish it out from the other way and maybe flip it back over and do it again the other way, back from the top again. We'll just see how it sort of flattens out and see what it needs, and then maybe, depending on what way it sits nicely, and just see how solid it is, it might be fine. It may need another shrink or 2, and then another planish over. But we'll grab the panel stand, we'll throw it on here, flip it up the other way, and we'll tack it and we'll come back to you. Right, we're just going to do another one in here somewhere. May have to do another one. I've done another 2, so we've done 6 so far. But just needs a bit of shrinking in there. May need another one over here. Once we've done this one, we'll do another good planish somewhere in here. Needs another shrink. Right here, so I've given that a heap of shrinks now. I'm going back down here and ladder and planish it out, I think, from this side. And well, you might just have to do one more, two more. It's a bit of a high spot there that I might want to get off it of. But it's a lot more solid now. I just keep finding every time I did a shrink, it would pucker up somewhere else. That's why I keep sort of feeling, keep running the little block over, and that's why I started I just shrink it out and sort of do a quick dolly around, find the next high spot and just keep pulling it down, because yeah, just been way overstretched at some point. But we'll give it a dolly out, see where we're at, and we may just have to do one or two more. I know there's quite a lump in it there. The rest might be okay. Might just need another one in here, but we'll give it a dolly out. And because I don't know, I'll probably put I don't know, close to 20 shrinks in that one area before. So yeah, that's actually interesting of a count on the footage when I'm doing it. I got no idea. I had a bit of an inkling for a start off, but yeah, when I started going mad there just before, after I changed that bottle over on a little gas torch, it burnt way hotter. So that was part of my problem too. I just couldn't get a hot enough shrink quick enough. So you're just getting that real high, super hot spot in the middle. That makes it shrink better too, because the steel's softer. It'll collapse in better on itself. But we're getting there. So we'll You might see it a little bit later on tonight. A little bit light. Or we'll take it again in the morning, but I might come back down for another hour or so and just see if I can get it cleaned up and dollied up. And then we'll let it dry overnight and we'll smear a little bit more mud in there. Have a bit of a clean up. Righty. Righty. So, I've been out here for a little while. I haven't done any more shrinking per se. What I've actually been doing, I'll just turn this over. I've done a little bit of hammering on the side, but I've been using these two dollies like this, well, two slappers, one underneath, one on top. Because they're nice and flat, you get a bigger spread to make it flatten out. So I'm just going to go around it now with just a normal dolly and a hammer, and I'm just going to go over some of the other little spots. But I think I've got it pretty good now. It's got a little bit of, but you got to push on it to really get it to do it. It's probably just a little soft there, but I think it's pretty good. Hopefully once I've just been around the dolly, a couple of little areas, the rest of it's, I wouldn't say it's dead flat, but it's pretty much, you know what I mean? We'll just go around and just hammer a few little extra bits. Just do a quick rub, just to bring it up. Right, so you can see, now that I'm going over that with flat, you can see that it's still low in places, but basically, in a roundabout way, it's pretty flat. I was touching a lot of steel without riding over lumps and bumps, so you can obviously see where it's low, but I'd have to actually do quite a bit more shrinking to get this to really flatten out without. So if I try to flatten this out more, I think we'd go back into oil canning again, and then I'd probably just have to start shrinking again now. If I wanted to get it really perfect, I'd have to start shrinking like here and here, and some of the higher spots in the centres, like of these bits, to try and just pull it a bit tighter and then planish it out again. You know, I'll probably have to shrink here again. But I'm hoping we'll find out tomorrow. We'll put a scraper body filler through it in the morning and block it off and see how it sits. But at least now it's the same shape as the fender. Before it was sucking in, whereas the other one's not. And I completely forgot to go back over it and make it the right shape. I just forgot. I was too busy trying to get the bloody thing done, since we're on a bit of a time crunch and a money crunch, because I'm not going to get any more money for it to do this job, so I've got to try and get it done without sacrificing, but sacrificing a little bit of time, not going full send, trying to get better, but getting a nice enough result that it doesn't matter. Like again, it's not going to be a show car. It's just wants it to be nice and tidy and clean, and it will be. It's just unfortunate. Just this job's turned into a bit of a fiasco. A lot of things that should have been done just aren't going to get done because it just doesn't want to spend the money on it, which I think in the end is going to turn around and bite him in the ass. But at the end of the day, that's not my problem. I'll get it looking nice, put it back together. It won't be running and driving when it leaves here. It's unfortunate, but it's just what it is. He's got somebody else that's going to spend a bit of time on it, get the wiring sorted out, and he's going to make floors for it and redo the woodwork. That needs to be the floorboards and the bit of wood around the back and bits and pieces like that. They're going to do all that. They're going to fix all the wiring. They're going to get it running. So, they'll find out then that I think it's just going to be a leaky mess. But what do? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But it is what it is. You kind of do what the best you can do. We spent a whole lot more time on it than we ever thought we were going to, especially rebuilding underneath the car. It's unfortunate, just what it is. Not much I can do about it. But yeah, it'll still be nice. It just won't be going on the road car. It's be one of those things I'll have to spend another so many dollars trying to bring it all up to spec, new springs, new suspension. They're probably going to have to go through and pull everything apart because it's probably going to leak and piss all everywhere. Or it definitely leaks out of the diff. It's probably going to leak out of the gearbox. It's probably going to leak out of the motor. They may not, but you know what I mean. I know it's definitely got all diff leaks. And I'm pretty sure it's got gearbox leaks as well, but who knows? It's just one of those things. I can't do much about it. If I start pulling it apart, next thing it's $100,000, which is just unfortunate. It's just what it takes. Now the time, I'm only one man, so it does slow you down a bit. But if you're going to strip it down and do things properly, well, you've either got to go whole hog or you're just going to patch it up. So that's kind of what it is. We're fixing the body as good as we can. Make it solid and safe and sound again. And they'll just have to patch up the rest of it and do what they can do. And if they ever decide to put it on the road, well, they'll have to dig deeper into it, which is unfortunate because it means the body and everything will have to come back off it to do anything to the motor, especially the motor and gearbox. Because you can't get it out without lifting it off, without lifting the body off. So that's all right, not my problem. But yeah, we'll dig into it tomorrow. I'm happy I've got that sorted, so at least I can carry on tomorrow, and we're ready to go again. But it's probably taken me another hour just of fiddling and hammering and whatever. I was just playing with it because I didn't want to do any more shrinking if I could get away with it. I thought I'd get it. I knew I was either going to get it or I was going to have to do, another half a dozen shrinks or something, just to get it to pull that little bit tighter. But that comes, and maybe that shrinking paddle helped. It's one of those things I don't use very often, but it's in my arsenal if I need it. So, right, I'll catch you later on. Righty, morning. So obviously we got that hammered out last night and heat shrunk and whatever. So I've just given these panels a quick clean down with prep wipe, get rid of any greasy fingerprints and shit that are on them. I did that partly, but I just did it again. So I'm going to mix up a wee bit more body filler because it needs a bit more in places anyway, apart from re-skimming that centerpiece. Let me get ready so you can see, hopefully. Yeah, if the light doesn't go all clear on me. The door half open, so it's bright. But yeah, so we'll smear a bit more mud on here, but we'll obviously give it another scrape through where it needs. Some of it's not actually that bad, but there's lots of little missed spots, obviously. And then I'll try and get a bit more on some of the rest of it as well. Down the back where I sort of haven't seen it a lot yet, but I need to spread it up into here. Maybe a wee bit more, maybe not. Yeah, I might just bring it up to about here. So I think the rest of it's actually okay until I get back to this far edge, on the outside of the car where it was a wee bit knocked around. and then I'll flip it on its back once I've sort of got this a bit more dialed in, and we'll maybe a little bit more hammer and dialing, and then basically spread that edge and block it flat. It's reasonably flat, but I'll just go along and just make sure the edges are straight, and then we'll just smear some mud from one end to the other and block it out. So yeah, so we'll get into that, and if I've got anything left, well, no, what I'll do is I'll spread it on this, and then I'll go over to that one, and we'll block this one out, because I've sort of only just started knocking all the stuff off this, and then we can knock this down while that one's gone hard and whatever, and we'll just keep chopping backwards and forwards. And at some point, maybe, I keep saying lots of little jobs I want to do or need to do, but maybe at some point I'll get, actually what I'll do, I'll get that steering box now, and I might go throw it in that parts wash and just let it soak in there. I'll probably have to turn it a couple of times, but at least that'll get the gunge loosening up on the outside of it, so it's a bit more ready to get cleaned up and paint. And probably what I'll do, once I've got all the shit loosened off it, I'll probably just sit it out there somewhere, spray it down with that acid a couple of times, flip it over a couple of times, and then we'll just squirt it off with the pressure wash, and we'll paint it black and jam it back in the chassis. It's probably the easiest way to do it. But if I let it soak in there, I don't have to worry about it. I can just go over there and flip it over every now and again to loosen all the shit up off the outside of it, and then we'll know it's freed up and cleaned up and degreased on the outside of it type thing, and we can just give it a freaking good hose off and acid wash and a quick scuff round and maybe a quick wire wheel over, and then paint some paint on it. It's kind of what's going to happen anyway. So yeah, we'll quickly throw that in there, and then we'll mix some body filler up. Righty, I moved myself over here. Those stands are they're good, but they're pissing me off because I just can't hold the fender still enough to sand better. So this fucking thing's not wobbling around. I've been blocking this out, but I've just noticed there's a fucking dirty dent here. So I'm going to have to knock that down and then spread a bit more mud up into there. It actually flows in there quite good, but this is just, as you can see, when I've been sanding, there's a lump there. So I'm going to have to knock that down and then put a little bit more filler in there and blend it through. I've been trying to sand down the rest of it too, but I obviously got into here. That other one should be dry. I've actually just, these bead roll dyes are frickin' pissing me off. I see Amazon still haven't fucking sent them. I do not know why. It drives me absolutely insane. Like, it's been 2 weeks since I've ordered them, I think. Yeah, this will be the second week. I'm pretty sure I ordered them last weekend, or was it the weekend before that? I think it might have been the weekend before that. I ordered them on the Friday. So it's 2 weeks today, I think. Today, Friday? I think. This is out of any matter. But yeah, they still haven't sent the fucking things. And it's absolutely, well, it doesn't say that they've sent them. They might be on their way, I don't know. But it doesn't say they're in fucking transit to be delivered, which is pissing me off. Because if I don't get them here within the next week or two, I'm screwed. So what I've done, but the biggest problem is they don't seem to be a common thing. All these bead rolling kits come with, what was it, a quarter? I think it's a quarter, 3/8 and 1/2 inch. Yeah, so that's 3/8. So it might be 7/16, 3/8 and 1/2 inch. That's all I've ever seen, even when the one on the kit, the set that I had in Australia. But I've just put a heap of messages out in some of the New Zealand car Facebook pages to see if anybody's got a set of 3/4 that I can borrow for a day. I don't care if they've got to ship them here. You know, if it costs me $20 to get them here, and then I can send them back again, or if they're in the local area, I'll go pick the bastards up on the weekend or something. But it's stressing me out, because if I can't get that done, I can't finish the stuff. And, you know, it'd be nice better, if I'm going to paint stuff black, it'd be nice to do a whole heap of them once. And, you know I probably can't paint everything all at once, but at least if I can get most things, you know, paint all the bits and pieces. So yeah, it's peeing me off too. It's freaking stressing me out. Because I want them here. I thought, you know, they might have been just about here by now, but yeah, it's frustrating. Because every time I look on the website, it says like the second of, you know, it's a week into March or something before they even get here. So like we're, I don't know, what are we, the 15th of February, or 16th of February, or 17th of February, whatever it is. So we're still, you know, we're more than 2 weeks away. Well, I don't have 2 weeks. I kind of need them now. Like, you know, if I'd ordered them and they said, oh, you know, they're on their way in the first couple of days on their thing, like I wouldn't be worried about it. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I wish somebody here in New Zealand had a set in the shop. I would have bought them. So hopefully somebody might have a set floating around. You know, some old timer or something like that might have a set, and hopefully they fit a 22 fucking mil shaft. Mind you, I do have some of these other machines here, so if they don't fit that, maybe they might fit one of these other old funny things that I've got here just to get the job done, if you know what I mean. But yeah, absolute pain in the ass. Anyway, I'll carry on sanding. I might drag that other one over here once I get that sorted. Move it over, do this out onto a panel stand and spread a bit more mud on it. And then start sanding the other one a bit more. I'll just get this knocked back. And yeah, we'll go from there. Obviously it needs a bit more through here and here. I haven't got enough in here. But it's just probably not that bad actually. Probably just needs a bit more of a block back. Yeah, we'll see. This obviously needs a bit more of a block back. I don't need all this on here, but I'll send it back until I start hitting steel through here. But yeah, I've got to do some wee bit of work there. It's obviously something big hit there at some point, and I've missed it doing hammer and dolling. That's right, that's what this point's for. You know, you pick these things up and you can just massage them about a little bit. So anyway, we'll carry on. Rant time. I posted a heap of posts, like I said on Facebook before, looking for some 3/4 bead roller dies. Yeah, to help fix an old car. And one of the groups, which was, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's old school cars in New Zealand. You know, I posted up a post saying, you know, of the picture of the dies, you know, or roughly what I'm looking for. You know, anybody got any? Can you help me out? Sort of type thing if you're in my area or close, you know. The fucking admin deleted the post. And I'm like, well, if you're going to have an old school car page about old school cars, what is wrong with a fucking guy asking for some tools to fucking help fix an old car that he can't get hold of? It's like, you may as well not fucking have a post, not have a page, if you're going to be a fucking wanker like this. Oh, some people gripe me, eh? It really do piss me off. They have some of these Facebook pages and you post up an ad like that, you know, a genuine person looking for tools or something like that to help do a job, you know, that just don't seem to be available, and they just fucking delete the post because they're a bunch of dickheads, because it's not directly related to a car, but it's still directly related to a car, especially an old school one that somebody's doing body work on or whatever, looking for a tool. What is wrong with that? It's not as I was fucking selling a bunch of bananas or whatever, like I quite often post the car show video links on there and shit like that, It's like, you're happy with that, but a guy can't ask for him to borrow a tool. Because I actually put another post up there. It was like, well, thanks for deleting the post asking for a tool to fix an old 24 Dodge that's not easily available. Yeah, thanks. Anyway, I'll carry on. Righty, so I spun it round and I'll fucking put a couple of Tech screws on this inner piece. It's the only place I can get the anchor good enough to try and get that back edge so it's solid. I can sand it. Like, the other one's fine because you can sit it on the deck here and just put that block of wood underneath that side where it sort of sits over the centerpiece, and it's fine. Like, this is good. It's basically solid, if you know what I mean now, but I can't get it around the other way because the vice is on the other side. Or the vice, I need another vice on the other side in the same place, you know, for left or right fenders. That may happen. Or something, make up some brackets so I can screw to here that for different jobs, if you know what I mean, when I'm doing stuff like this. Because yeah, just the panel stands, just especially for this sort of thing, aren't stable enough. You know, they're too weird shaped. Modern fenders are okay, like probably anything sort of, I don't know, like I guess sort of 50s afterwards, you know, aren't normally like this and sort of weird shapes, if you know what I mean. Whereas, you know, there's normally like an outside, like it's normally an outside skin that might come over the top of, you know, the opening of the engine bay, and you know, sort of unbolts from there and whatever. But like sometimes you do get big inner fender pieces on them, but 9 times that unbolts off and you can just work on the outside skin. But these aren't like that, so it makes it awkward to work on. This is kind of the best place. It's what I had to do with those too. I think I had them screwed down in here and screwed down on the edge. I think I had a couple of screws from the inside edge on this edge where the holes are on those fenders. Same sort of thing, but different scenario. I had to do the same thing to get them to sit still to sand. So anyway, I'll carry on and we'll come back to you. We'll get this blocked out. I think I'm close here in the meantime. I wouldn't mind getting a wee bit more out of here, but I think just with some of the highs and lows, I can probably take a wee bit more out, I think, but then I'll end up with funny lumps in it. I'm better off just a touch more filler. As you can see, like, it's not horrendously thick anywhere. You can see there's a lot of places where, sorry about the fan noise, and there's a lot of places where steel's poking through. So you know it's not thick, you know. It might be, you know, it might be freaking a 16th or maybe a touch more than that. You know, there's going to be the old place where there's a funny dent there. You know, that's in behind that brace you can't get out, so you know, it's not worth bashing on it to, you know, you may as well just put a little bit of body filler on it and be done with it. That's actually come up not too bad. It's a little high here, but I think I'll get it to smooth out and it'll be good enough for this job. You know, I'd like to spend more time on the thing and do the whole thing and make it really, really freaking awesome, but it's just not going to happen. You know, like that's the sort of work that I would like to do. I'd like to do sort of rat roddy sort of type stuff, or full-on customs, if you know what I mean. But yeah, sometimes you just got to work within the person's budget and be done with it and do the best job you can, you know. Make it as nice as possible, and I wouldn't say cut corners, but you just don't go quite the level or finish the metal underneath. You just get it as good as you can and then work it in with body filler, you know. That's kind of what it is. But anyway, I'm going to sit down for 5 and then I'll hit the sanding blocks again. Right, I just flicked a little bit of, it was actually etch on there at a rattle can just to give me some contrast so I can block this out and just, it feels like there's a lump in here, but I just can't seem to work it out, but I just want to sand it because I'm getting close to steel in a few places. So I just want to let that dry for a second or two. I'm going to run my block over and just see where I need to put filler, so I'm not filling the whole thing. There's obviously going to be like a few little holes and bits and pieces I've got to put a little bit of filler in. But I don't want to be spreading the whole thing if I don't need to, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I haven't sanded here yet, not too stressed about that. I haven't sanded around the front here too much. I think I'm kind of done around here. I haven't come back to it. I might just sand a little bit more in this corner. I think I said that earlier. But yeah, I just want to block that out a little bit more, just find out where we need to be, and then I'll mix up another batch and we'll come in and we'll start probably spot filling, kind of, if you know what I mean. So put a bit in the area and then spread it so I've got something to sand off. And yeah, maybe some of these slightly higher spots we'll try to knock down. We'll spread a little bit over them so we've got something to sand off, so we're not digging into here and making these bits higher. But yeah, probably the bulk of it. In some places we'll probably get a full, just real thin layer again, so we can knock it down and then find the lower spots. Find the spots that still need it again. But yeah, we're not far away. We're not far away from getting it reasonably wrapped up. We're still got to do this full edge. Yeah, knock some mud on there and whatever. But yeah, we're getting close. Oh, if you're wondering, when I put a lot of my working footage in high speed, or whatever you want to call it, some people must use time-lapse functions on cameras. I just record it all normal footage and then speed it up. 9 times out of 10, it's 10 times faster than what it should be. 9 times out of 10. Sometimes if I get a really long clip, if I've happened to be filming for maybe an hour plus more, and I might have a whole heap of clips like that sort of connect one into the other, I might double that up so it's, because you're talking an hour long, so if I times that by 10 it becomes, say, 6 minutes, thereabouts. So if you've got, say, 2 hours of footage like that, all of a sudden you've got 12 minutes of just high speed, so sometimes you might double up. So it condenses down to 6, so it's basically 20 times faster than normal. And there's the odd time if I get a little short piece in between a video, in between different clips of me talking, and I do a little bit of work that might be only 2 or 3 minutes. Sometimes I might only just speed it up 3 or 4 times, but as a general rule of thumb, it's, if I've got a 20, 30 minute clip, it'll be just, I times it by 10. So my editing program, all normal footage is at 100%, and then I just normally type in 1,000, it speeds up to 1,000 and shortens it up, and then you just move all your footage along. So yeah, that's my normal. Yeah, like I said, if I get lots of clips that one join after the other of working footage, and I end up with about 2 or 3 hours of that sort of footage, I might do it at 2,000 percent or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it shortens it up 20 times. So yeah, I'll be working lots faster, but yeah, you can just sometimes, yeah, people might be wondering how long that actually took. Yeah, 9 times out of 10 it's 10 times faster than what it is, so every 10 minutes becomes a minute. Every hour becomes 60 minutes, 6 minutes, well, it's not 6 minutes, but it's roughly about that. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. you going, guys? I think, I don't know, I think I might have found somebody to borrow a 3/4 bead rolling die set off. So I'm actually going to the guys that did the sandblast, and he messaged me like yesterday and said, oh, I might have some. He said, I've got a whole heap of dies and bits and pieces there for bead roller, so I'm going to go have a wee look. I'm just heading there now, so hopefully, because I haven't had any freaking people message me at all about it, which is real freaking annoying. I hope, because it doesn't look like that die is going to turn up to early March if it gets through the system all right, with the North Island being all screwed up from the floods and the earthquake. I don't know if the earthquake did a whole heap of damage, but floods have just destroyed parts of the North Island, so I'm just not sure what the freight system's like and all the headaches with that sort of stuff, you know, like that could delay things by a week or two, you know, just them going through bullshit for trying to get stuff into the country to repair things. You know, they got, I don't know, like how many bridges have just been destroyed with all that sorts of stuff. So I'm actually just following them into there now. Yeah, we'll have a wee look, and hopefully he's got some dies there. It's my whole book collection, small world. Well, yeah, he has got them. They won't fit on my machine, but he said I can just shoot down and borrow his machine for it'll only take me 10 minutes to do them. And then I'll have to go back and dolly around the end of it, but it's fucking awesome. Fucking handbrake's on. But yeah, it's awesome. He's even got an inch wide one there, so he's bought a machine from the US, and it came with a whole heap of big dies right out to inch wide. So yeah, but it's only on a small diameter shaft. It's like 5/8 shaft instead of I don't know, 22 would be like what's 22 be like 7/8 or whatever it is, I think 7/8, somewhere around about there. Like 19 mils 3/4. Yeah, it'll be like 13, 16, 7/8, somewhere around about there. I don't know, but yeah, his shaft's only like 5/8, so it's a beautiful looking machine, but yeah, it's not the same size. But he's got the dies here, so it's, I can just run it through and carry on, if you know what I mean. That's cool, awesome. So I'll throw the guards in the back of the car Monday and I'll shoot down and do it. So it's all absolutely awesome. And it was quite funny, yeah, because I was in his room where those machines were, and I was like, huh. So where'd you get all the books from? Did you collect them, or yeah, like car magazines? Or did you buy them somewhere? He goes, oh yeah, no, Mrs. bought them a few years ago. And I was like, huh. I said, I think they might be mine. And I said, when did your missus buy them? She goes, oh, about started end of 2016, started 2017, somewhere around about there. I said, yeah, no, they're mine. So I told her where his house was, because I've never been there. But yeah, it was. That's funny. It's funny how things work out. It's funny, go around in circles like that, isn't it? Yeah, because he's had his business there since year 2000, end of 2016 or something, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's funny how small world sometimes, small world.
Welcome to Iron Outlaws. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this.